What's going on, everyone? It's your favorite racing, fighting, and role-playing gaming Jackal, Goddrifter, and welcome back to another Goddrifter podcast. This is podcast number 12. So, yeah, and today's topics is my thoughts on the crew Motorfest beta. Basically, a might be a chance of me streaming Naraka, which is the newest Battle Royale game, which I've been playing for a little bit, so there's that. And last but not least, a Let's Play of Dragon's Dogma, right after I finished the Goddrifter trilogy, basically. Um, Without further ado, let's get started on the topics. So, what was I wondering? Okay, so what is about the Motorfest beta that was special? Well, it takes place in Hawaii, which is, keep in mind, that's another state in America. And yeah, we have like literally almost all 48 states. The only difference between literally the United States now versus the United States in the Crew 2, as well as Motorfest, is that almost everything is took place in those specific states, except for Alaska. Unfortunately, Alaska is where Canada is, and yeah, it's basically Little Canada in some way. Anyway, so yeah, it's very interesting to say the least. Now, in terms of what kind of what kind of stories I mentioned, well, the last few hours, obviously I did the live stream, and then off stream, I literally figured out what was going on, and it was the fact that apparently it didn't count, for the most part. So, seriously, and literally, I had to be like, okay, it's supposed to be right there, and then it's supposed to be over there. Oh boy. Anyway, so yeah, there's that for the most part. And heck, I even look up the actual thing, and I'm like, oh, that's what that is. And it turns out that not everything can be like done right. In fact, that's probably one of the bigger problems, is the fact that the foes don't even count for some reason, and you have to restart the game, and you have to restart the beta, then you have to go in, and it was pretty interesting to say the least. And let me just turn the game down a little bit. There we go. Oh, that's why. 20%, 20%, 20%, 20%. Okay. There we go. Now I can actually talk to you guys while I'm actually, doing a full-on podcast. Anyway, so first time I ever live streamed it was literally obviously the 21st of July, and dear God, I actually do love it. I love it how it was. It was probably one of the most probably the most fun betas I ever played. And unfortunately, I didn't draw the Cadillac because, well, I didn't have a person to like pass with. Because dear God, the freaking um, I feel like sometimes like it actually does make sense to go in and go for the what was I say? Oh yeah, and but basically had to go for the usually a lot of people go for the Made in Japan playlist, and I legit have fun with that. Same thing with the I think like that's probably like one of the two popular ones. One of them is obviously gonna be the vintage playlist, and then the other one's gonna be the Made in Japan playlist. I can say for sure that for those that enjoyed precision driving, then the 911 story playlist might be for you. The Hawaii scene route, even though yeah, it was extremely long, it wasn't bad until they forced us in boats and planes. I still was wondering why the heck they keep on adding freaking planes to the game. Like I kid you, like okay, I kind of get because obviously it's a huge island, but dear God, we we were spoiled when it comes to like Touchdown Limited and Touchdown Limited 2. Nah, we didn't have boats in place. Nah, we have freaking cars go like, to literally go around and literally to make matters worse, I literally was like, okay, that probably makes a lot of sense that we got boats and planes. That's the Crew 2 thing. But at the same time, it would have been a lot easier to actually just like, oh yeah, let's just like, heck, that mess could have easily been like, oh yeah, a lot more cars can be added instead of just, oh yeah, we're still insisting on the boats and planes. Like, we don't want them. Like, come on. We legit do not want these mofos. Like, come on now. And like, we want more cars, not having all the cars from the last game plus a few more, plus boats and planes. Like, god dang. Oh yeah, especially the plane, especially that one plane race. That was painful to fly in. I was like, what the heck am I flying? Like this thing doesn't make any sense. Like what the heck is going on here? And I was going, I'm like, who the heck want us to literally fly a plane? And the scenic, like, I kind of get it because obviously, because it's the Crew 2's thing with the boats and planes and stuff. But dear God, I'm wondering why the heck they removed the jet sprints for the powerboats. And the powerboats are not even fast. Like in fact, here's the thing: they may be powerful, yes, but dear God, it was painful. It was painful to drive around in. That's for the plane. It was even more painful to fly the planes. Yeah, basically it's painful to drive a boat, and it was more painful to fly a plane than going from one place to another with via checkpoints. Which that's another thing. They actually have more stuff in the. There's like 5 playlists that you can actually do, and it's like okay, that's kind of cool. But at the same time, it was very interesting, I guess. I don't know, to be honest. But yeah, it was one of those that's like, okay, it's this thing right here. No, it's that thing right here. Oh my god. So yeah, basically we have so the vehicles I ended up customizing obviously was the I bought the Mark IV for the last live stream of the Crew Motorfest beta. I bought the Mark V, I bought the NSX. Unfortunately, I didn't buy the new Type R versus the Type R we got in Crew 2, which is literally 2015 model, which is not everyone's favorite. I freaking kid you not. You wonder how many people be like, "Oh my God, why do they keep adding this variant? Where's the new Type R?" And then we're not talking the FL5, now we're talking the FK8 third Type R, which is the one with the more aggressive front end. Oh my God, I'm like, who the heck wants this mess? Like, come on now. But yeah, it was interesting. Not to mention, I got to, as I mentioned, end up driving the fifth edition of the Civic Type R, which, to be completely honest, I don't see the appeal. Like, if there's one thing that I can say for sure is that I do not see the appeal of a extra Honda Civic Type R. Like the regular one is good enough as is. We don't need another one. And the only special thing about it is literally the decals and maybe the wheels, but that's because the wheels are literally like uh linked to the the wheel, not the wheel bar, basically the wheel lip, I think that's what it's called. But yeah, basically it's kind of like that for the most part. Yeah, it's very interesting to say the least. Um, so what are pros and cons about the Crew Motorfest? Um, let's see, yeah, basically the Crew Motorfest. Um, I'll say for those JDM fanboys that really hate the fact that Doyle keeps on pointing out. Well, rest rest assured that as I was saying, basically for you JDM fanboys that wanted the Toyota in the crew game, well, you got the Crew Motorfest because that's literally what they have for the most part. It's like, oh yeah, you got the Mark V, you got the Mark IV, and then you also have the good old fashioned, what's that called? Good old fashioned Toyota Tacoma, which that was way out there. Like, we didn't expect. I mean, here's the Tundra we might expect it, but the Tacoma was literally, it's not like a low end Tundra, but the Tundra is basically a high end Tacoma, and they're both are in like literally the same ballpark. Like, kidding not. The only difference between is that the Tundra may be bigger, but the Tacoma is a little bit smaller. So there's that for the most part. There's also another pro um, is that it's a giant map. I kid you not. It may not be as big as hope. Excuse me. It's not as big as the it's not as big as the Crew 2's map, obviously, because obviously it took place in the entire U.S. versus the Crew Motorfest being taking place in Hawaii. It's one of those that you had to like look at it from someone's perspective. Like they haven't, like let's say for example, someone had, let's say for example, this person has not played any racing that took place in Hawaii. You have to literally like, okay, it's like okay, it's Hawaii. So what do we know? It's like actually, you want to know what the true experience about it? Play either Touchdown Unlimited on the Xbox 360 or PS2, depending on your budget, of course. Or you can actually buy Touchdown Unlimited 2 on PC because obviously, because of mods, of course. And the other thing about it is that literally it is one of many, and I mean one of many games that literally took place in Hawaii, and they put in every single detail about it. Like there are more detail in the Crew Motorfest than the Crew Tour. I kid you not. Um, so what are the cons on the Crew Motorfest? Let's just say that the players are not bad, but they can be repetitive because there are a lot of objectives on for a lot of challenges for said events, and not to mention there's also that one thing that kind of worried me, and it actually was correct. Um, you had one of the vehicles you had to use in the you had to use in the game, and that is the Mitsubishi Evo Black Knight Edition. Which keep in mind we don't have. Keep in mind the car is not buyable to say the least. That the vehicle is not buyable. You literally had to win the summit just so you can actually get the car. Which that literally was like, not again. It's one of those type of things where it's like, okay, yeah, I probably need to get the Black Knight Edition. I got the regular Evo, but I don't have the Black Knight Edition. And not to mention, In the beta, I noticed that two of the vehicles were actually locked. You know, you own them, and one of them is obviously the Ford Mustang, and the other one being the Nissan 270 Nismo. But then again, it was not it was not a complete game, so I can't blame them for that. The Naraka is that when I played the beta, it wasn't glitchy. But it did have some delay times when it comes to like um basically when I was getting ready to stream, like, it would be like a delay. It would delay for like 5 seconds, and then it will continue on. It's like, what the heck? And then at one point, if you guys remembered, before I took down the video, um, I ended up getting hit by a infinite loading glitch, which it wasn't a glitch, it was more like an infinite loading bug. So yeah, it was one of those. I was like, okay, that actually makes no sense. But yeah, throughout it all, it was very interesting to say the least. And yeah, I actually did I did kind of like it for the most part. Um, this is actually gonna be the bigger question: is the Crew Motorfest going to beat Forza Horizon? I'm going to do it half-heartedly. Yes and no. Yes, it might beat it in terms of like drivability, gameplay, and customization, and not to mention the freaking Toyota. But no, because obviously Forza Horizon 3 is still one of the more memorable Forza games that you can actually play versus Forza Horizon 4, Forza Horizon 5, which a lot of people still like, and people play Forza Horizon 5. That's not bad, but it could have been better. Yeah. Um. So now to the next topic. So for those that are not too familiar with what Naraka is, I probably am going to explain it now. Naraka is a free-to-play role-playing game that literally takes place in uh, it's a mixture of Chinese and Japanese folklore. Um, and heck, actually, it's one of those that legit makes a crap ton of sense. Actually, 32. What was I saying? Oh yeah. So basically, um, so it literally, so yeah, basically it's a mixture of Japanese, Chinese, folklore. And not to mention, there's also a little bit of Taoism for the most part, because some of these characters are Onmyoji, which are basically kind of like spellcasters in a way. They're not like wizards per se, but they're used instead of like a wand, they use talismans, and usually it's kind of like that for the most part. Um, yeah, there's that. Um, what in the heck? That is weird. But yeah, it's actually one of those that legit makes no sense at all. But yeah, and basically for those wondering, yeah, Naraka. Actually, in fact, the game was actually kind of popular. It was to the point where fixing and literally Maximilian Dude, a YouTuber that actually usually covers fighting games, has I think I do believe it's a skin, if I remember correctly. You know, it's his own character, but hey, I ain't complaining. But yeah, actually, it's actually pretty cool to say the least. But yeah, it's one of those that um, you can actually you know what you're doing, and you know what the heck. Um, oh my god. No way, that's stupid. Oh my god. That man's literally glitched out. Stupid. Anyways, so yeah, well, I've been thinking about actually streaming Naraka, um, there's like one or two things that a lot of people like, but it's a but it's a battery out game. Like, it's like Fortnite. Like, okay, here's the thing. There's a difference between Fortnite and Naraka. Okay, Fortnite focuses on literally content. That's basically what it is. It's literally a content massacre. I kid you not. They literally team up with people. They team up with like franchising. Like for example, they have teamed up with Naruto. They teamed up with Spider Man. They teamed up with Street Fighter. They even teamed up with freaking Master Chief. And oh my god, there's basically a lot more that I will name. But hey, you get what you get. Not to mention, I do believe they teamed up with God of War, if I remember correctly? I can't remember. But basically, it's like that for the most part. And then and then there are the people that be like, "Oh, it's that character from Fortnite." And it's like, okay, you do realize that they are from different games, and oh dear God, I feel bad for the kids that don't even know what games that the characters are from. Oh my God. Yeah. But then again, there's also heck, they even had Optimus Prime in with the last stream. They even had Optimus Prime. And they're like, oh yeah, this character's from Fortnite. It's like, that character's not from Fortnite. Just get that out of your head. This is moving on. Basically, what I like about Naraka is that they don't focus on just long range weaponry. Now they have freaking melees. Like so this was range from katanas to long swords to daggers to even a full on great sword that literally like folds or actually extends. Which holy crap, that's probably one of the actual like coolest things a great sword can ever do. Period. Like we're talking straight up full on madness when it comes to things like that. And again, who am I to judge? Yeah. Anyway, so yeah, basically for the most part, it's kind of like that. Um, yeah, most people will be like, okay, so what's this mean? Naraka and Fortnite? Well, Fortnite's focused on content. Naraka on your end, well, I'll just say that is a mixture of Dynasty Warriors with not Call of Duty. I know that for sure. It's not Call of Duty. It's between it's a mix of Dynasty Warriors, Samurai Warriors, and another game I didn't mention, didn't even bother dropping, Rogue Company, which is a third-person shooter, which it works with a team, and that's usually the whole gist of it. Basically, it's all that combined, and not to mention the weaponry. Oh, the god of weaponry! Weaponry is top-notch. I actually did like it. And the best thing about that game, of course, has to go to the characters. These characters are probably one of the, if not the most really cool designed looks I have ever seen. In fact, most only one of my favorite characters are, well, two of them come to mind. Well, actually, yeah, two come to mind. No, not two, three, basically. One of which is Yoto Hime, which is a samurai chick with a big old sword, and literally her special is literally summoning a even bigger sword. Another one is Valda Kui, who is a pirate, and you know how, and you already know how a lot of white pirates. They're freaking cool as heck. Who in the world does not like pirates? And last but not least, it's Zai, and Zai literally is like, she is literally the only character that actually, controls fire, and she controls aura as well. And not to mention, it actually is pretty cool to say the least. So let me know if you guys want me to stream some Naraka, so that way it'll be like very diverse. And last but certainly not least, we had to talk about some Dragon's Dogma. And for those wondering what the heck is Dragon's Dogma, Dragon's Dogma is a RPG from Capcom that literally is one of the more popular games that they actually made, and not to mention the game itself is actually there are two variants of it. There's regular Dragon's Dogma and there's Dragon's Dogma Dark Arisen, and then there's also the good old fashioned basically the good old fashioned not good old fashioned basically Dragon's Dogma Dark Arisen are basically the same game, except it was re-released for PS4 and Xbox One. But, and this is a huge but, there might, not might, but there is a chance, not, there is a chance, there are basically, it is actually confirmed that Dragon's Dogma is getting a sequel to the game that Capcom made, and it actually made the game extremely popular because of how different it was compared to your average RPG games, basically. And yeah, I actually legit wanted to so due to the fact that the game is coming out soon, I am thinking of actually doing of a let's play of well, to be perfectly clear, basically another let's play. But before I even do something like that, I had to complete the trilogy of God Eater, the trilogy of God Eater. Basically, since I completed three, I am almost done with two. And due to the fact that I actually bought the first God Eater game, which is literally the OG, I am literally going to be doing 3 hour streams per, yeah, basically per,
Motorfest Beta Donif.
yeah, it
N
actually is,
asterisk.
yeah, it's basically, yeah, the Motorfest beta is completely done. Um, actually did, I did actually explain, my thoughts about it, which I actually did enjoy it. It was legit fun. And there are some pros, like for example, the pros is that obviously Toyo is in the game, and we have had Toyo in years, except for, well, of course, Gran Turismo and that weird Fast and Furious game, but that's whatever. Um, there was another time where that's not one where basically the customization is actually a game a little bit better than before. Um, which even though yeah, that's usually a thing, it's still one of those that is like, hey yo, we want to play this. Like, oh sure, why not? Basically, um, and a lot of people say that it's just gonna be Forza Horizon 5, and it's like that may be true, but what about the previous games? You know, Forza Horizon 4, Forza Horizon 3, Forza Horizon 2 even. And even though, yeah, Forza Horizon 2 was a little bit hated, there is still the third game, which, you know, the third game is usually the one that a lot of people literally look up to, because that's really what started the Forza Horizon craze. Unless you're basically an OG player from the first or second game, and it's like, yo, man, Forza Horizon 3 is the bomb, man. This game beat every game out of the water. And then they look at 4 and it's like, yeah, it's alright, but it could have been better. They look at Forza Horizon 5 and they're like, man, they up. Like, what the heck is this? And not to mention, lacking literally Lancia along with Fiat and a bar literally is one of those things that's like, oh yeah, it's gonna kill the game entirely. Oh my goodness, but yeah, it's very interesting, and not to mention, unfortunately, um, we won't get a Bars, Fiat, or Lancia in in the Crew Motorfest because you know, yeah, they legit added the Stratos, um, like they legit added the Stratos this 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 season. Unfortunately, that is not the case with the Crew Motorfest because Crew Motorfest literally has you like, okay, so we had to do this and do that, and do a bunch of those too. Oh God. But yeah, it's actually it's one of those cases where um, many it's like not just many, but basically a lot of players will go out and be like, okay, we're going to the Green Motorfest. See you guys later. It's like, alright. But many people didn't realize that Volume 4 of Need for Speed, which pretty sure everybody's like, yeah, nah, this game is done. It's like, yeah, like, man, this game is done. There's no way they're gonna recover from this. Like, I mean, if I were a hardcore Need for Speed fan, I would agree. But since I'm a actual casual fan of Need for Speed, I don't mind them getting another season. I wonder where the season's gonna go. And not to mention, I literally just talked about what's that called? Naraka, which is an RPG from Capcom, and they're getting a sequel. So literally, I am planning on getting the first game, and the only way to get it is literally to get the Dark Arisen version, what the heck? I'm not even gonna bother what the heck that was. But yeah, it's gonna be one of those that legit will make plenty of sense because of everything that's going with Dragon's Dogma, and the okay, that's what I said. Basically, Dragon's Dogma 2 is supposed to come out soon, so if through the celebration of Dragon's Dogma, I am going to be streaming that for the channel. And in terms of Halloween, and this is actually a good chance of this, but I actually am going to retire the Resident Evil Let's Play, but it will be replaced with Resident Evil 7. Um, yeah, Let's Play Resident Evil 7, which will be this year's Let's Play. There's that for the most part. Am I gonna be playing this with the VR? No. Why? Because I don't have the VR headset nor the controller. So I will be playing this game with literally the lights turned off, and not to mention, I will also be playing it with earphones on. So that way it'll be a pretty much an experience with the actual the actual game for the most part. Now, in terms of like the other Let's Plays, like Elden Ring and uh, I already explained Goddrifter, I already explained the coming son of Dragon's Dogma and Resident Evil 7. Uh, there's also another game that I legit want to stream, but there is a problem because obviously the game has copyrighted music. So actually, and not so much, there is a mod for it where you can actually turn down said music, but I actually want to have like a authentic gameplay experience. So yeah, there's that for the most part. But yeah, actually, it's one of those things that you have to look up where it's like, okay, we finally got the thing we wanted. So what's next? So that's usually it for well, not see, that's not usually it. Basically, Dragon's Dogma is still going. So it's still gonna be in the channel. Sitting with Injustice 2, which I haven't done that in a long while. So basically, uh, due to as an apology, I'm probably gonna do 3 chapters instead of just the usual 1 or 2. Which usually the first 5 chapters are usually one live stream, and then obviously the second live stream usually will be, um, if I was wondering, it'll be a mixture of the 2 chapters back to back. So basically, like 1 through 5 will be 1 through 5 is literally chapter 2, chapter 2, which is live stream 2, chapter 3, live stream 3, live stream 4, live stream 5, live stream 6 will be 6 and 7, live stream 7 will be streams 8 and 9, stream 8 will be 9 and 10, and then, yeah, that will have been about it. So, yeah, usually it's kind of like that for the most part. But, yeah, actually, it's interesting to say the least. But yeah, I was wondering what was my favorite vehicle in the Crew Motorfest beta. Well, I had to be completely honest. I gotta go with the NA1 NSX. Reason being, because this is actually the first time that the Crew 2 didn't add the Type R variant. Now, what I was wondering, which one is the actual NSX? The actual NSX, even though there was the Type R variant is faster, the NSX, the original NSX, doesn't have, basically doesn't have that. Basically, a very, it's a very tunable car. It was until like the Type R comes in, like, oh yeah, Type R, but they actually ended up giving the vehicle a crap ton power. Like we're talking more power than your average Civic or your average Porsche, basically. Now, is this very ideal? Maybe, because we had no freaking clue what's going on with it. So, yeah, there's that for the most part. Yeah, actually, that was like that was one like the more that was probably one of the more funner. That's a word. Anyways, it was one more fun. Um, one of the more fun. Well, it's not streams. The most fun I ever gone to a. In certain perspectives, it was legit fun. I did enjoy that mess pretty much for the most part. But yeah, I actually did like it. Um, I explained the pros and cons. Also explained the there's no thing. Oh yeah. There's also might be a chance that I might. Um, so I actually meant to talk to you guys about something. So basically, um, in terms of what's going on, in terms of like not gameplay wise, but basically channel wise, um, I will be starting school soon. So basically, um, this is actually going to be the last month because obviously, I start school in the 15th of August, and not to mention the 1st of August as well. I will not be streaming, period, because I will be going to the dentist, and basically that's usually about it. Basically going to the dentist, and then just chillax for the most part. Same thing with the 15th of, yeah, basically the 15th of August, which that is when my classes take place. So, yeah, that's usually it. Around that time, I probably will be studying up the good old Department of Motor Vehicles handbook. So that way it'll be easier to, not easy to use, but usually it's easier to understand. So there's that. So how long has it been? Okay, so it's been basically I have at least 17 minutes left. So yeah, so yeah, basically so yeah, for the most part it is a very interesting scene to go for in terms of like going through the times where it's like, oh yeah, basically you need like to get a vehicle, otherwise you'd be the one guy that likes cars and yet doesn't know how to drive, which I do not want. I don't want to forget that. So yeah, it's usually kind of like that for the most part. I did end up searching for a vehicle, and I think I found a vehicle. Um, I think I'm probably gonna buy that first vehicle, but there are a few problems with those said vehicles. They're not in the local area. I kid you not, they're not in the local area. Usually, when it comes to vehicles like that, it's like, oh yeah, basically we have such and such. Um, and usually I'll try my best to look for a one owner vehicle that usually is like, oh yeah, basically this vehicle's been sitting there for years, and it's like, oh yeah, we don't need to take it out no more. It's like, okay, cool. How much for it? It's like, oh yeah, we have to sell a deal. It's like, nice. uh, yeah, it actually is very rare to find one owner owned vehicles because literally the first person literally is like, oh yeah, we're probably gonna do um, what's that called? Usually it'd be like a shoot, what's that called? he usually is like, oh yeah, we have, all right, literally like, oh, yeah, this is only even owned by one person. That person is, like, the person is yours truly. It's like, okay, yeah, I can see it. It looks like, well, what the heck? Okay, so, excuse me. But yeah, actually, it's well, for the most part, actually, yeah, drivers actually look for a what's that called? Basically a um, basically a one owner vehicle per se. So there's that, and and not to mention they're like, oh, yeah, there's one owner vehicle, and then it's like, and they do like listing all a bunch of ones. Like, man, you listen to a bunch of mods, like you literally you're like the second owner. It's like, oh yeah, that's because I am the second. Like, oh my god, what the heck is this? Oh my goodness. They be like, man, they're not even honest with most buyers anymore. They be like, over here was like, oh yeah, I'm the first, I'm like the only owner of this vehicle. And it's like, no, you're not. Oh, yeah, like, and then they literally like list a whole bunch of stuff, and then it was like listed the specs like it was like I took like he took it out of the budget. Wait a minute. Aftermarket stuff. Oh heck no! I wanted something clean. Like what the heck is this? So basically, I have plenty, and I mean plenty of options. And specifically, I have five options. Well, eight options actually, because well, I can just sell with one vehicle. I can sell with two basically. So the first vehicle, obviously, and it actually is no surprise for someone that literally has been watching my recent live streams of Gran Turismo 7, but yeah, the Mitsubishi Mirage Coupe. Now, was I wondering? Wait, what does the Evo 5 have to do with the Mirage Coupe? Well, this well for certainty, it would legit make a lot more sense because obviously I am a since any other day I am a Mitsubishi fanboy. Unfortunately, I wasn't a, well specifically pre 2015 Mitsubishi fanboy. That's basically how that is how I was found myself as. Basically, for those who are wondering, pre 2015 is what the heck? What the heck was that? Hold on a second. What the heck? Yeah, that's a good question. What the heck was? I didn't buy any. I didn't. My God, that's stupid. Anyways, um, yeah, not like that, but actually, it would make a lot more sense if that was the case. But again, who the frick knows? But yeah, it's actually one of those moments where it's like, okay, found something I can actually use, and it won't break the bank. So yeah, really be good. Um, Another one being the Scion TC, and well, specifically the 2014 model. Now, know you guys thinking, what a 2015 model? I could easily just get a 2015, 2016 model. Like, that's because the 2014 model actually is actually one of those that you have to like literally make sure that it is because the 2015, 2016 ones are literally like the later models, which that's literally the last of literally the literally the sound. Silent TC from 2011. That's from 2000 and well yeah, from 2011, 2012, and then 2013, 2014. That's the one that a lot of people literally go for in terms of the vehicle itself. Um, Another one being a, you guys are surprised when I say this, Mazda RX-7 FC with a four-cylinder swap, specifically either a K20, well, basically either a B18, K24, SR20 swapped Mazda RX-7 FC. Now you're gonna say, okay, but then why don't we just keep the rotary? Because the rotary is not good for people that want to start modifying cars first. And literally, it's one of those that you have to really take face value on what it is. It's a Mazda RX-7. A lot of people don't know how to keep them reliable, and heck, the most reliable one I've seen so far on YouTube, and there are two of them. I freaking kid you not. It is TJ Hunt's and Mike's. And I was wondering, okay, TJ Hunt makes sense. Well, who's Mike? Mike is a YouTuber from here, specifically north here, basically. And he actually has a bunch of, yeah, he has a bunch of, yeah, I guess we'd say, he has a bunch of vehicles like he has a C5, C6, two Fox bodies, LS Swap 350Z, and his recent purchase, he bought a LS3 G35, dubbed the SSG because obviously it's an LS powered um, four-door G35, so I kind of get it. Um, he unfortunately he gave his SR20 power during vehicle away, and not to mention he has a 1,000 horsepower SC, which is basically a Supra if it was heavier, aka a Supra with a full-on fancy tuxedo. Same thing with the RX-7. The RX-7 he has is literally it's a street-ported RX-7, which that's what a lot of people go for these days. Um, and many people were wondering how the heck the other has their RX-7s not blown up. It's a street-ported. What you suspect? But then again, I don't mind a good old-fashioned three-rotor, and the only vehicle that I know with a three-rotor is literally the Dogma. Yeah, of all the vehicles I know, the Cosmo has a freaking three-rotor. Find me, find me, hit it. Okay. um. Okay. Other than that, okay. So basically, Mr. Mirage, a Silent TC, Mazda RX-7 with a four-cylinder swap. Yeah. How about a Nissan? Well, see, not Nissan. Basically, an Infiniti Q45 from 1998. I kid you not. In 1996, 1998, Infiniti Q45s usually don't go for that much. Usually it's a four-figure vehicle, and basically you can find one for cheap, and it'll be ridiculously reliable for what it is. Now, I know you're thinking, well, wait, aren't they the same ones that a G35s usually have? Well, that's another vehicle that I have. That's one of those vehicles that most people would just stay away from. Because, yeah, G35s, they don't, oh my god, they literally have a bad rep now because freaking takeover guys. Great. This is, nah, come over here, my guy. You could easily use any other vehicle, but you chose the vehicle that a lot of people are going to hate now because, oh yeah, the G35, that's totally a ripper and a half. God freaking dang it. Ay. But yeah, it is a very interesting scene to go for. So, um, up next, a basically 8th through ninth gen Honda Accord Coupe V6. Another one would have been a 3rd gen Mitsubishi Eclipse or 4th gen Eclipse. It depends on your taste, of course. Uh, let's see. And the last one is basically it's actually quite simple. It's the any Z from 1970 all the way to I say basically it's a tie between uh, any Nissan Z from 1970 all the way to 1976, and then any ZX from 1979 all the way to 1999. Basically, well, not 1999, basically 1997? Yeah, 1997. Basically, the reason being is because with the old school Nissan Zs, you can legit do whatever you want because those cars have passed 25 years old, which which probably will expend them from, um, basically expend them from smog. Literally means we can do whatever the heck we want with it. So literally, like, oh yeah, swap in a V8 into a Z, no problem. Swap an inline 6, specifically the 2JZ, no problem. Swap in an RB, no problem. Swap in a Hellcat motor, no freaking problem. Swap in a Lamborghini V-Tail, what I say, no freaking problem. Basically, so yeah, these Zs are basically like a full-on Legoland in some way, shape, or form. Literally, the only difference being is that, yeah, it's kind of like that for the most part. Especially since the car itself literally screams, oh yeah, this car can actually get swapped, basically. Um, same thing with the, let's see, same thing with the 260Z, the 280Z. Um, I don't know about the 280ZXs. That's the one thing that I'm legit worried about because let's say, for example, I actually did get a 280ZX, I legit want to RB swap it, then there comes the time of smog. Like, will it be extended from smog? Because if that's the case, then it's like, yes, I don't have to smog it. Shoot. I could easily just like, I was like, oh yeah, the car is from a 1990s motor. I'm like, it's based on 1990s cars. Like, man say less. Like, all right, cool. Uh, but yeah, it actually is one of those that you have to actually look for in order to actually know what you're doing with the vehicle. Uh, and then there's also the 300ZXs, Z31, Z32. I have sat in a Z31 before. I actually did sat in one before. I felt like a I felt like a really short kid inside of a large vehicle. And keep in mind, I am 5'10". Okay, 5'10" and a half. All right. This vehicle, it made me feel like a full-on kid inside of a truck. That's how short I felt. And it's probably, and I'm not gonna lie, it's probably because of the bucket seats. I don't know if it's just me, but I do believe it's because of the bucket seats that gives you like a lower center of gravity type look. And I'm like, what the heck's going on? Like, what the heck is? I'm like, what the heck? Why am I? why the heck am I so low? I have seen this do a Z, seen a Vita 2 during ZX, and man, this dude legit bought his for literally 15 grand. I kid you not. I'm like, wait, you bought yours for 15 grand? It's like, yeah. And this was like, and he like, man, this is, and came like, this is like a one order. I'm like, oh, sorry, what? That was a one order car? And like, yeah, man. It's like, dude, you know how lucky you are? Like, God, dang, that, in my Furious DXs, specifically the twin turbo models, are literally reaching in terms of prices wise, basically. Not to mention, normally when it comes to like during ZXs, there are two variants of it, and the most popular one is usually the twin turbo model. But it's usually also the infamous one because they are really ridiculously hard to work on due to the crapness of the vehicle's engine bay. I kid you not. Same thing with the same thing with any other vehicle. Where they have like a twin turbo and they have an NA model. I'm pretty sure that a lot of people don't go for NA models now because they do not feel like they're like they're taking the engine out just to work on the engine, put the engine back in, and then the car would like start. I think that's the reason why people really either go for an RB or they go for like Mike did. He legit swapped a SR into 300ZX. And the funniest part is that the engine is legit lighter than the other than having the V330 and then having the VG30. Um, so yeah, it's kind of like that for the most part. Uh, so but if you're American and you're wondering, okay, so what about if you're American fanboy? Well, there are literally Mustangs, Camaros, Challengers with V8s that you can actually buy for less than 10 grand. I kid you not. There are many vehicles you can actually buy at just 10 grand. I kid you not. Heck, you can even buy a SUV that usually a 4-digit type of truck with a 4-digit cost on a truck for the most part. So yeah, for the most part, it's pretty interesting to say the least. So basically, in terms of the Goddrifter advice, and today's advice is about your cooking. Be sure to actually know how much of something you put on to a maybe, remember how much you're actually putting onto a vehicle. There we go. Remember how much you're putting into a dish because you never know if there's too little something or too much of something. Make sure you put the right amount of spices and ingredients, and you should be good to go. Now, in terms of gaming advice, now here's like if you're raging, calm down. You never know what will happen if you kept on raging. Heck, I used to have gamer rage too, and I literally rage quit in games. So yeah, I had those type of moments. My recommendation is literally just literally to calm down, literally just watch YouTube videos and basically watch something that's extremely funny to you. But yeah, that's basically about it. Hope you guys enjoyed this live stream. Leave a like, subscribe, comment down below what's next. Hope you guys enjoyed the podcast. And you want to see the previous podcasts, there would be in a uh, yeah. If you guys want to see the majority of the podcasts, they'll be in a playlist in the channel. You can follow me on Instagram at Goddrifter_. You can follow me on Twitter at G7S. A lot of certainly you can check out and join the Discord at Goddrifter Museum. And last but not least, yeah, that's about it. Hope you guys have a dope Monday, dope Sunday. It's Sunday? Hold on a second. Oh, my bad. Hope you guys have a dope Monday. This is Goddrifter signing off. I will see you guys next time. Alright, I probably will see you guys in a couple hours from now. Peace.